Hey, Carl.
Hello, welcome, John.
What a
We
treat.
are super excited to have you. Where are you calling in from?
I'm in Chicago, Illinois right now, which is maybe a little bit warmer than Anchorage, Samantha, but I'm not quite sure.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to welcome you and also give a high level background on John, who leads the technology partnership. Omnisend is an e-commerce tailored email and SMS marketing automations platform built to help nimble teams drive more revenue without increasing their workload. So, to get things kicked off in the chat, I would love to hear some brands that you guys think have really strong email marketing strategy. And then, John, I'm going to hand it all off to you.
That sounds good. I'll be looking in the chat here, but let's get the show on the road. I know it's 5 p.m. here in Chicago, so I know folks are nearing dinner time, so don't want to compete with dinner time. So as Carly mentioned, my name is John Knott. Fun fact, I was employee number 50 at Ship back in the day, which seems like a couple lifetimes ago. Been with Omnisend for 2 years now and really excited to be here today. So we're going to fly through these slides, but I promise you it'll be 20 minutes of joy. So here's a quick agenda. We're going to pop through automations that convert. I'm sure that most of you have these key automations set up, but we'll talk through a couple that I've noticed that have been even more popular as of recent. We'll walk through building loyalty through personalization and some considerations there. And then multi-channel winning the day, the email plus SMS, those multi-channel campaigns and automations that convert. So diving right in, just a quick little bit about us. So we are, as Carly mentioned, an e-commerce focused marketing automation tool. So we provide email, SMS, browser push notifications to over 70,000 e-commerce brands. Those that are direct to consumer, those that are more enterprise, those that are SMB. We have a pretty large scale of folks that are leveraging us. We work across all 8 major e-commerce platforms. Obviously, Shopify, Shopify Plus, BigCommerce, and Woo, and certainly a long tail on others. And we do have a fairly substantial amount of integrations that we work with that expand the value of what it is that we do. That's just a little about us, and now we can dive into the fun stuff. So I think most of you are probably well aware at this point that email has really transformed over the past 10 years. It's no longer just campaign-based where you're statically sending to your list, or you're statically sending to a segmented list, but rather is being driven by automations, right? We're seeing that 335% higher conversion rates from automations versus campaigns. And the really simple answer for why that is because relevancy matters. People want to be talked to as if you know them. And there's a lot of noise out there. And so it's really easy to get lost in translation. And so these automations that are, for the most part, customer behavior based, those are really going to convert because they're based on relevant data, relevant products that the customer want to look at. An interesting fact here is that almost 40% of Omnisend revenue is driven through automations like cart abandonment, welcome series, and yet it only accounts for 2% of the total email sent. Just an idea of how potent these automations are. Again, reiterating here, a substantial amount of all email orders are only coming from those 2.4% of email sends. You can see here that the message conversion rate by type, it's pretty interesting here. Obviously, you see SMS sneaking in there at the bottom in terms of the conversion rate. And some really interesting things here when we look at multi-channel. Now, we already mentioned that stat on the left, 33% conversion rate for automated emails. And then web push actually has been on the rise recently with 35% conversion rate as well. All this data is inside of our email and SMS and push marketing stats guide for this year. So feel free to take a peek if you want some more data surrounding those opt-in channels. Now, when it comes to which automations convert most, I think some of these will not be surprising, but others might be a little bit surprising. So when it comes to the number one converting automation, we look at the welcome series. This is obviously whenever a customer has just opted in to receive marketing from you, and so they're really fresh and they're wanting to engage with the brand, right? They came there for a reason. They either want more information, they want to see more products like the ones that they're looking for, or they have a purchase in mind that they're looking to make. And so this is a great opportunity to convert folks. And so this is one you really want to make sure you have optimized and you have in a good spot. Other automations that convert really highly are obviously abandoned cart and browse abandonment. These are folks that are either browsing your store or they're looking at a particular item, but they've left it in the cart or they haven't purchased the item, but they've been browsing for it. This is a great opportunity to provide that relevant data, right? Being able to resurface that one product, or if it's browse or product abandonment, being able to surface those product categories to be able to get them interested to actually convert. Maybe it's giving more information about the product that they're purchasing to add value there, or maybe it's if you're comfortable with this, giving some sort of a promotion to get them to convert. So how does this translate into building loyalty, right? So I think, like I mentioned, personalization is so paramount because at the end of the day, if you look at iOS 15, it's becoming much harder to retarget on paid channels. I'm sure a lot of you are feeling that. If you look at just the amount of promotions that customers are getting, you really want to stand out by being able to provide that relevancy, and a lot of that through personalization can build loyalty, which is obviously going to increase your customer lifetime value as well. So it's different inflection points here where you can build loyalty through personalization. At the point of acquisition, right? These are just some examples of pop-up ads that you might see. These might look similar to some of the ones that you have set up for your brand as well. This first one here to the left, we're giving a discount right off the top. One here in the middle, we're giving a six trial pack. And then the one here to the right, we're actually asking for zero-party data. I think the most interesting one of these is this one asking for zero-party data. And that's because you're going to learn more about the customer from the jump, and you're not going to be assumptive with the messaging that you're going to be providing to them. So if you're a skincare brand, knowing if a customer has oily or dry skin is super important, right? Those are different products you're going to surface to them. And same with size, or same with style, right? Anything that is hyper personalized or subjective to taste, you're going to get a lot of value out of using these zero-party data forms from the get-go. So if you're not familiar, zero-party data is effectively just gathering information about the customer before they make a purchase, right? Their preferences, their purchase intentions, any sort of personal context, or what the individual wants the brand to recognize them for. And so this directly informs how a brand can go about messaging to them. And again, it can personalize from the jump, which is going to make them feel better about the brand, feel like the brand knows who they are. So how you can continue to iterate on this is that by improving your segmentation or by improving your targeting, you're going to be able to personalize the customer experience. So knowing what they've purchased in the past, right? Knowing what kind of customer that they are, knowing that they used to be a high value customer and haven't been for quite some time. There's 100 different ways you can slice up your audience, but by being able to think about your audience in different segments, you can start to provide messaging that's going to resonate with that customer base. And again, 62% higher conversions with segmented campaigns versus those that are kind of one for all. And so what does actually segmenting your audience look like, right? So here's my audience. I have 9 customers. And now I'm setting up segmentation rules so that in the end, I actually have different segments of customers. I don't just have a one customer base, but rather I have different segments that I'm going to treat differently. It's like if you had 3 children, as much as you'd like to raise them all the same, it's just not how the cookie crumbles. Oftentimes you have to get a little creative and you have to really understand your child to be able to parent them. And the same goes for customers as well. Why segmentation works. So a couple of key areas here, obviously increased campaign engagement, like we just mentioned. When you send a message that's more pertinent to a customer, their ears perk up, right? Secondly, the one I want to focus on here is improved customer loyalty and retention. So by being able to personalize the customer experience, again, you're showing customers products that matter to them, which leads to a higher repeat purchase opportunity and higher AOV. And then less unsubscribes and spam. If things are resonating, if things are relevant, you're less likely to get folks to feel like your messaging is coming off spammy or unwanted. And so continuing down this segmentation rabbit hole here, a couple other opportunities to be able to segment your audience are, leveraging browser and purchase history. So again, looking at what this customer has purchased or browsed in the past, those kind of automations or messages are going to be much more likely to be opened and to be purchased from. Obviously, things like birthday, that's a really easy example of how you can personalize a message. You capture whenever they become a customer, you send them a message, you give them some sort of promotion, like in this example here, and you're off to the races, right? This is obviously a one-time static opportunity, but if you have 10,000 customers, that's 10,000 opportunities you have to convert someone with a birthday promotion. So not to be shied away from. Again, a lot of this you can be automating, right? This isn't like you have to segment your audience and then worry about coming up with messaging for each of these on a consistent basis, but rather you come up with automations per segment based on the customer behavior. And a lot of it can be truly automated, which is great. It can get you back to doing what it is that you love to do with your business, as I'm sure all of you are wearing multiple hats and you don't just have email marketing to worry about. And lastly, here's an example of kind of walking through how to build a segment in Omnisend. It's really quite simple. You effectively are going to be adding filters. So in this example, I'm saying this is a customer who's placed an order in the past 14 days, who have purchased multiple products, so 2 products, and they've placed an order for over $200, right? So this is, in a sense, a high value customer, right? This is someone that's ordered from you recently, ordered from you multiple times, and order from you with an AOV of over $200. So this is just a quick example for how you can drive loyalty through being able to personalize this particular segment. So this is effectively your loyal customer, right? Or a potential loyal customer. Here's a couple options of the kind of segmented campaign you could potentially be sending them that could not only drive additional value for you in the form of a review, in the form of them being an affiliate for you, in the form of just making them feel good about purchasing from you, but can also drive your next conversion as well. So feel free to get creative about how you target these sort of VIP customers, and obviously, different loyalty providers like Smile, like Loyalty Lion. These are great opportunities to be able to augment even further by adding in loyalty points and that sort of thing as well. And lastly, we're going to talk about multi-channel. This is effectively what Omnisend does best, is that we are a multi-channel, omni-channel email and SMS and browser push notification platform that gives you opportunity to combine these to a great effect. And so, we know from all of our customer data that, email plus SMS is a winning combination. Omnisend is a global SMS provider, so we're able to provide SMS to customers globally. I think we're the only company that's been on the webinar today that's able to say that. And being able to provide global SMS plus email is really effective when it comes to converting folks, especially in certain automations like abandoned cart and such. We're seeing 48% higher conversions with email whenever it's combined with SMS. So get creative about how you're leveraging this. From a welcome series, email plus SMS works great there. From an abandoned cart or browse abandonment series, email plus SMS works really well there as well. Get creative about how you're leveraging multi-channel, and obviously know that there's plenty of examples on the Omnisend blog if you'd like to take a peek there as well. A couple more examples about how multi-channel is winning the day. Starting from the right here, 250% higher engagement and purchases are generated when there's 3 or more channels in the mix. 90% higher customer retention rate over a single channel. So the opportunities here are substantial. And if you think about it, they're different channels, right? The phone or SMS is a really intimate platform, right? It's where you spend a lot of your day, frankly, which is in one turn sad, but also a realistic understanding of how we use our phones. And then there's email that you're in for work and for other maybe nonprofit related things, right? There's lots that you're doing on both of these platforms, but they're quite different. So they're going to get you at a different point in your day, at a different inflection point. So by being able to leverage these multiple inflection points, these different channels, one being intimate, one being more work related, you're going to have multiple opportunities to convert folks. And that's what we've seen with multi-channel as well. If you're new to SMS and you're saying, I have no idea what you're talking about, I've not, I don't have a single SMS subscriber, I would say there's no time but the present. I think that there's plenty of opportunities for you to start collecting SMS. A great way for you to do so is via the opt-in form. Whenever folks are subscribing to your email or to your SMS on site, you can easily add, SMS as an option to be collected. You can create exclusivity around your SMS campaign. So you can say, sign up to receive, VIP access to new products or to exclusive discounts and offers. There's lots you can do to really hype up the value of SMS. You can use SMS to reinforce urgency, right, with those automations or those just-in-time sales, or in this example, those last-minute reminders. And then again, you can integrate SMS into your normal workflows. Having one platform like Omnisend to be able to integrate both email and SMS collectively saves you a lot of time and energy versus having to be in multiple platforms. We did just come out with text to join via SMS as well. So you can actually grow your SMS list by texting to join. Again, you have someone that's out in the wild. Maybe they see an advertisement or they see something on their mobile browser. Really easy for them to be able to text and to join here versus having to go and fill out an entire form on a site as well. So this is obviously just another example of ways to grow your SMS list. With Omnisend, you're actually able to get a dedicated number for free as well. I know I sped through that, but I know we only had limited time. So I think I did A-okay on time. I'd be a few minutes over, but did want to mention that we do have a special offer for viewers as well. So feel free to take 30% off of 3 months of Omnisend whenever you use ShipBob 30x3. Obviously, my email will be in the chat. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I will pass it back over to Carly.
Awesome, John. Well, thank you so much. If we can keep you for just a couple more minutes, I did get some questions in my DMs that I wanted to run past you.
Great.
So I had someone ask, do you see more success with SMS or email when it comes to recovering abandoned carts?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it depends on the kind of company that you have, the kind of customers that you have. If you have a younger customer base that's really trained to be really quick to purchase on SMS, I'd say it's definitely an opportunity. If you have maybe an established brand or an established customer base that's maybe a little bit more unfamiliar with SMS, it might be a bit of like mixed results. So I'd say the best thing to do is to test to see if it works, right? I think the nice thing about Omnisend is that we actually give free SMS credits for every dollar you
Wow.
spend on email. And so if you're on our pro plan, you're spending 199 bucks a month, with us, you get $99 in free SMS credits as well to test to see, hey, like, does my audience respond well to SMS? So I'd say you don't know until you try, but I'd say it probably depends on the kind of customer base that you have.
Awesome. And then last one for you was around SMS and how you guys work with SMS and numbers not going to spam.
Numbers not going to spam. Yeah, well, I think we do have, or I guess the U.S. has what's called Shaft, which is effectively the laws surrounding SMS. And so one of the nice things about Omnisend is we have dedicated client success managers that can help you with all of this. But we do have Shaft regulations that most SMS folks or solutions follow here in the U.S. So there are certain categories, for example, that are not allowed to leverage SMS, cannabis and CBD, firearms. Those are all examples there. But outside of that, we have a lot. There's not a ton in terms of spam opportunities there, as long as you're within the kind of the Shaft regulation. So feel free to reach out and we can talk more about that. But for the most part, if you're compliant with Shaft, you should be good to go with not worrying about things going to spam.
Amazing. So I know I had a couple other questions, but feel free to head to John's booth. He's going to be in there hanging out for the next 10 minutes or so. So if you have any other questions that I didn't get to, feel free to go ahead and ask the expert himself. And John, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I always love seeing you on webinars and hearing you present and talk about Omnisend. I think it's an awesome platform and great for e-commerce brands. So with that, thank you, John, and we can all head to the next session to hear from Christina from Bright Pearl.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Carla.